Hi everyone, it's momma.RN.colorist, and today I am going to do a page out of Les Grands Classiques by Disney Hatchet Heroes. And I just received some acrylic markers. They were on a lightning deal on Amazon. And I want to go ahead and try them out on this page. I'm just going to flip the book open. I had this whip for years and years because I didn't like how it was going. But I thought I would try these markers on this page. I'm not really a complete fan of this page, but it's the last page in the book, so if there's any bleed through or anything weird, it won't bother me too much. As you see, there's some ghosting from my black that I used on this page. So I think that I'm going to go ahead and do this page with these new markers. They are, let me get the case here. They came in a case like this. And it's Pengether. I guess that's how you say it. And it did come in this case. These are missing from what I'm going to do in the page. But yeah, it came with a cool case. It flips out like so. But I thought I'd go ahead and give them a try. I bought these with my own money. Nobody sent these to me. But I wanted a alternative to the Tule Art, I think they're called. They're a little more pricey than those. So I thought I'd just go ahead and give them a try. I know Tule Art is very popular in coloring. But I think that I'm just going to give these a try. If they don't work, then maybe I'll save up some money and get the Tule Art ones. So let me go ahead and move everything out of the way and open the book, and we will see how they work in Les Grands Classiques Disney Hatchet Heroes. Alright, I got my first color, and I think that I'm going to just start with number 5. Let's see how these acrylic markers work. Let me go ahead and zoom you in. Sorry about the zoom. Push you up. Alright, so number 5 is over here on his neck. So let's go ahead and start. Let me go ahead and just outline. So I'm sorry about my sniffles. I have another cold. That's just what happens when kids are in daycare. I'm going to try not to sniffle too much, but I do apologize if you hear that. So right off the bat, I can tell these are not very opaque, but it could just be like the light color. So what's new with me? Not a whole lot, actually. I worked this last weekend, so I didn't have a whole lot of color in time. But now, the kids are at school, and my son's at daycare. He was a little sick over the weekend, but he's feeling a lot better now. Kids bounce back so much quicker than us adults, that's for sure. I'm not really sure why this guy's neck is gray. But hopefully it all comes together. Sorry about the sniffle. But I did want to go ahead and color this because I do have these markers and they were calling me. You know, new supplies, you just want to try it right out. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this color dry. And then go over it again to see if I could get a more opaque coverage and see how they layer after they're dry. This is my first time really using acrylic markers. Besides, you know, the Posca pen that you just do little details with. I usually get, what was I gonna say? I don't even know. Oh well. It's gonna be Easter next weekend, and I'm excited because the kids like to do Easter egg hunt. So I'm gonna have to go to Walmart, probably, because Walmart's really close by me, so I go to Walmart a lot for grocery shopping. I'll go to Walmart and get their Easter stuff here. I'll probably do it tomorrow. I have tomorrow off too. I have, I work 3 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So most weeks I have 3 days off, but the weekend is considered a day. So most of the time I only have 2 days off during the week. But I'll go get their Easter baskets and eggs. Not real eggs, the plastic little eggs that you get. Because egg prices are crazy. And I don't think we're going to dye eggs this year. I might let the kids paint on the plastic eggs instead. So they at least get to, you know, do something crafty. And, we'll see how that goes. You know, my 2-year-old, he just slaps a bunch of paint on and calls it done anyway. So I think that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Maybe get them a little Easter outfit. And the local church, my son goes to a daycare that's run by a church. I'm not really religious or anything, but the church is holding an Easter egg hunt on Sunday. So I'm going to take both kids to that. And they're gonna have so much fun. All right. So I think this darker color is dry. Let me go ahead and try to do another layer. See if these are layerable. Let's go ahead and outline again. I do like these. I don't know about coloring a whole page with them. We'll see. But because it's like, even though it's a brush, I'm getting a lot of brush lines, which with a paintbrush you can kind of like feather it out so that the lines aren't so stark. But with this, since the paint is literally on the brush all the time, Can't really feather anything out. Alright. You know what would be fun is doing all like the color and then going in with the black. So I notice that I'm getting some black on the gray. But let's let that dry. It's streaky, but it's a lot better than like this. So, or sorry. Oh, you can't see that where I'm pointing, but like this. You know what is funny is I said I don't know why his neck is gray, and I just realized it's like a turtleneck thing. Oops. All right, let's go ahead and go over the light gray one more time. Now that it's dry, see if we can get it more opaque to cover up the lines, because if I could get it to cover up the lines, this whole book, or like this whole page, that would be awesome. Because that's one thing about color by numbers. Even though I do a lot of them, I'm not a fan of the numbers coming through. But that's just the nature of color by number. If I could get a medium to cover up all these lines and numbers and it look really solid, that will be awesome. So, I hope these markers work to cover up everything. I forget who I watch on YouTube that used acrylic. I don't think she does it so much anymore. But she used acrylic markers, paint pens, to color in her color by numbers. And I just always thought that was so awesome looking. With none of the lines, and it just looks kind of like a painting instead of just a color by number. So, and I love color by number. If you've seen my coloring book collection video, I showed you that I have 10 books completed, and a lot of those are color by number. So I can't get this line the way I want it. All right. So I missed a little space. I'm a perfectionist, so I'm sorry about that. But I missed it a little bit right against this black. So I was trying to be careful. All right, we're gonna let it dry. But it's pretty good. I mean, it's kind of streaky. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. I have my tablet's right there, so I can't really move the book up too much. Maybe if I move the camera. You see that? That looks pretty cool. All right, I think that I'm going to move the camera back. Move the book back. Zoom back out. Oh, not in, out. And I am going to continue with this page, and I will be back to let you know my final thoughts. I'm going to do it as a time lapse. I hope you guys don't mind the time lapses. Let me know if you like this style of video, because I love filming them. Because I like watching like the time lapse back. Like watching a page just come to life. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and get working on this. And I will be right back in a time lapse. There we go. So the markers were fun to use. But it's very streaky still. And I really put them to the test. I did. I put a layer over pencil. That worked good. I didn't have the right shade for the shadows on his face. So I went over it with a lighter one, and then I put the darker color over it to see if it would change the color. And it did not. But it's still streaky. So, I don't know. I don't know if I like them. Like, doing little small sections were fine, but the bigger ones, it's like a reminiscent of a water-based marker. So here's what the guy is supposed to look like. Let me make sure you're in frame. So that's what the guy's supposed to look like there. The color choices are limited, but I did the best I could. I actually think this is supposed to be purple, but whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect. But I was thinking, I kind of want to see if I can smooth out his face. Maybe go over it again with the marker again now that it's completely dried. And let's see if I can get it smoother. Probably not, but I want to try. And also, I went over this twice and sometimes 3 times. So I don't know how practical it is to use these in this book, because you'll use up the marker so fast if you go over it so many times, you know. But let's see if I can go in the same direction and see if I can get it smooth. Also, the tips of these, I feel like will disintegrate. They kind of remind me of Crayola Super Tip, the fiber tip. So like the roughness of the paper is gonna eat up the nibs. Now this set did come with replacement nibs, but I'm not sure about these. But I'm new to them too. So maybe if I have a more detailed page to do with these, it would be better. Like smaller areas to do would work better than these large areas. Let's see if I could just smooth his face out. If not, it isn't the end of the world. This page is done, technically. And it's better than having a long-standing whip. The streaks, it kind of acts like the Crayola Super Tips. Even though it's acrylic, and you can tell it's acrylic, it really is. because like the roughness of it when you run your finger over it, but I just can't get it smooth. I'm just gonna go over it one more time and call it done. Surface nipple. Maybe I'll try a different page, like that cat page. I'm not a huge Disney aficionado, so I'm not sure all these movies. I do want to look them up, because I've seen them when like older ones from when I was a kid, of course. I haven't watched any in a while. My daughter's not really into movies. She likes watching like YouTube Kids and things, so we don't really watch any movies. It's looking like something. I guess it looks a little less streaky, but it's still pretty streaky. Alright, so I'm going to just go ahead and call this done. I could go over the pencil that I did, but I'm just going to call it done. So there's that page using these markers. I gotta let it dry for a minute. It came out okay, I think. I am going to try to do this one though. So let me go ahead and pick out the colors and I will be back. Here are my colors picked out for this page. And for this one, I think I'm gonna try to go over, this is Super Dip. I'm gonna go over it and so it looks cohesive, because I don't think I did all the colors the first time. And I also wanted to show you the back of this one. So there was no bleed through with the acrylic markers. This little bit of bleed through and shadowing and things was from the Super Tips. So that was good. But I'm going to show you the back of this one, because I'm going to show it to you afterwards. There's a little bit of ghosting, but no bleed through. So we'll see if that changes when I do the acrylic markers on this one. So we'll go ahead and work on it. And I'll see you in a bit. I'm going to put you on a time lapse. there's that page done. However, I have sad news. This marker is dried out. So, and as you see, I only did 2 pages with it. I'm thinking though, what if I refilled it? I don't know if that's even possible, but I kind of want to try. Because they are fun to use. So, as we see, that is the color of this marker. And this is all the acrylic paints that I have. And this slate gray is the same kind of color. So I'm going to try to refill the paint pen with this color. So I have the slate gray right here. And I'm going to shake it. I'm going to put a piece of paper there. And I don't want to mess up the brush. So I'm going to try to take this off and see if I can refill it. Alright, I don't know if this is going to work or if it's going to be a mess. Alright, let's see if that did anything. So, my experiment, I think, worked. I can really feel the flow of the paint. Sorry, my voice is low. My daughter is in my bed. Try not to wake her up. So there's that page done. I don't like how streaky the background is, but it is what it is. It might be a little dry because you see this is not as streaky. Neither is this one. So, let's see. I know I have another whip. There's this first page. So maybe I can finish off her skin and get this one done. But let's see if there was any bleed through. There's absolutely no bleed through for those acrylic pens. There's still the ghosting from the black, but that was not paint pen. That was a fine liner. So yeah, I am gonna go ahead and let this dry. And I'm gonna put you on a speed color, and I might not do the acrylic paint over all of this again. Or maybe I will. I'm not sure. But I want to finish her skin. So I'll be right back with you. Tinkerbell is completed. And I decided to do her, like redo her in the acrylic paint pens. And leave what I had already done in the background. So yeah, I think those acrylic paint pens are really fun to use. But the acrylic paint in them, I don't think is of the highest quality. Because it's very streaky, and usually acrylic paint is not streaky. Like my experiment back here. After I refilled the paint pen, like that is a pretty solid color. But they are fun to use, and I'll probably use them more. But yeah, we did 3 pages in this book, and a lot of my whips are done now. In this book, anyway. So, I wanted to do one more. I'm going to be in... This is just so I could color on it. Let me move this out of the way. I was thinking about doing my whip in here, because there's smaller spaces in this book. Maybe the acrylic paint pens will do better. Also, it's a different type of paper. So, I have this whip. I could get one more whip done too. So I think we're going to work on this. I'm just going to do a quick time lapse this time. just to really get my overall thoughts on the pens. But they are really fun to use, and I'm having a really fun time doing it. So I'll go ahead and pick out the markers now, and we'll see how that goes. So there's that page completed. I really do like these acrylic markers, but as you see, they are streaky. And I tried them in a few different applications, like I went like how you color with Crayola Super Tips and like lines, and that was really streaky, so I tried to do circles, and I didn't really see a difference in doing the strokes or doing the circles. So I also tried to shade over the top with some pencil, and it could just have been this paper, but they felt really weird, the pencils. Yeah, I mean, I like them. I think they would be better with just small little details in pictures, but then you wouldn't need, I don't feel like you would need 72 of them to do details on a picture. Another thing is they dried out really fast, and as you've seen, we did a little experiment with refilling one, and it did work, but that means that you'd have to have 72 different shades or colors of the different markers. And I do have quite a few acrylic paints, but not, you know, enough to refill all the markers. But all in all, I really enjoyed them. I would probably use them again. Maybe in a color by number. But yeah. So we completed 4 pages in this video, and I got rid of my whip in this book, so I'm going to take the washi off. I had this whip for, gosh, 6 years. And the same with the Disney Hatchet Hero book. I had those whips in there for probably 7 or 8 years. What, 2018. So just a little recap. I took the sticky or the washi tape off this one because this one doesn't have a technical whip in it anymore. And we finished this guy from Hunchback of Notre Dame, I think. We did this page. And we did, or I finished the skin and redid the marker work on Tinkerbell. So yeah, I think that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.